The Dodgers are catching fire at the perfect time, and Clayton Kershaw just shut the door to his stellar month of August like only a Hall of Famer can.
You are Locked On Dodgers, your daily Los Angeles Dodgers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's time for Locked On Dodgers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. The Dodgers win their third straight for just the second time in nearly 2 months. Clayton Kershaw caps off his incredible August with another vintage performance, and MLB dropped the 2026 schedule with a few noteworthy surprises. And we're continuing our scoreboard watching. The Padres won 7-6 in Seattle, so the lead at the top of the NL West for Los Angeles is still one game. I have a packed episode today for you, which is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off of your first purchase. I'm Harry Ruiz, Spanish radio play-by-play broadcaster for the Las Vegas Raiders and the USC Football Trojans, a native Angelino with nearly 2 decades of experience working in sports media, and I bleed Dodger Blue for life. I'm having a blast jumping on the mic every weekday to dive deep into what I love most, which is talking Dodger baseball with you. And I want you to be a part of our show. Hit us up on the Locked On Dodgers listener line, 279-3-LOCKED or 279-356-2533. You can either leave us a voicemail or a text, and you might be featured in our show. The Dodgers took down the Reds 6-3 last night, and here's why that matters. This marks only the second time in over 7 weeks that LA has put together a 3-game win streak. That's a long drought for a team with this much talent. The offense came through with timely hitting. Kershaw was incredible. The bullpen locked it down late, and it really feels like this team is starting to find some rhythm. The streak isn't huge in the big picture, but it's symbolic. The Dodgers might finally be turning the corner from that inconsistent stretch that haunted them since Independence Day. Let's talk about this game because the Dodgers broke it open in the 6th inning with a 4 spot. Will Smith, Abo Taco, solo blast, first home run in the month of August. He needed that real bad. He had been struggling. We know that he had been the consistent force for the Dodgers when it comes to him being the guy that the team could rely on when Freddie Freeman wasn't hitting, when Mookie Betts was in his 2-month-long slump, when Teoscar Hernandez hasn't been the same hitter that he had been last season for the boys in blue. Shohei Ohtani, we know he's a big guy that he either hits home runs or strikes out a lot, but there's no in-between. It's very rare when we see him on base consistently with singles. And I got to correct myself. Second home run in the month of August. He had one on August 13th against the Angels in Anaheim, but this is just his second home run since July 22nd. Second home run in over a month, in over 33 days. So this was big for Will Smith, and hopefully this helps him find some consistency and confidence up at the plate. So Abo Taco, home run, solo blast, Dodgers up 3-1. Then Miggy Rojas, he was a pinch hitter in that inning. He had a 2-run double followed up by a Shohei Ohtani RBI single, and the Dodgers went up from only 2-1 to 6-1. And here's an important note. Over a month that the Dodgers had scored at least 5 runs in 3 games in a row. 5 runs in 3 games in a row. That seemed to be the barrier where it was like, okay, 5 runs, but you can't do it in more than back-to-back games. The Dodgers finally did it in 3 consecutive games. When you look at that game that they closed the series against the Padres to avoid the sweep, and these next 2 games, the first 2 against the Reds. Now the Dodgers have a shot at having a 4-game winning streak for the first time since before the 4th of July, and trying to hand the Reds their first sweep against them in 2025. Incredible. The Reds haven't lost 3 or 4 games against the same opponent in a series in 2025. The only team that has avoided being swept in 2025 are these Cincinnati Reds. Something important from this game that I loved. It was great seeing Kike Hernandez out there on the field. He had been out since early June and he ended up this game with a sac fly in the fourth that gave the Dodgers the lead, and they never turned back. Kike ended up going 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. The interesting part was, if you're an everydayer, you remembered what I mentioned in yesterday's episode. He had said on Monday that he was scheduled to play at left field. They had told him, you're going to start left field your first game back on Tuesday against the Reds. But after Michael Conforto got 2 doubles on Monday, Kike Hernandez was then converted to the starting third baseman for LA on Tuesday. And look, Conforto started at left field. He had 2 at-bats and was credited for a hit. And I was kind of criticizing Dave Roberts and saying, man, if you don't play Conforto after he had 2 doubles and he starts feeling the pressure of Kike is back, I might be losing my spot. Ha-Seong Kim is coming back soon. I might be losing my spot just like he did during July before the trade deadline when the Dodgers could have picked up a stellar left fielder, somebody that could have taken over that spot, and Conforto might have been relegated to a bench player or relegated to a DFA option. Conforto started feeling the pressure and played good in July. Unfortunately, in August, he followed his best month of the year with his worst month of the year, and he had some really bad months before July with the boys in blue. But Michael Conforto, they left him in the lineup. I'll give Dave Roberts credit with that, where it would have been difficult to leave a player who had just had a hot game with his standards the previous night and then leave him in the bench. But Dave Roberts had done it before. Remember Alex Call having 4 hits on the road recently and then being sent to the bench the next game? That's something where, okay, you got to measure things and see what favors the team most in a matchup. And they ended up leaving Conforto in the game. And look, for the second night in a row, Alex Freeland was the only player in the starting lineup to not get on base. Everyone else, yes, even Conforto got on base in this game. So the Dodgers lineup, the Dodgers bats, the Dodgers hitters are starting to get in a better rhythm. And the best part is, if you look at the way that the Dodgers scored runs in this game, yes, you had a homer from Will Smith, but besides that, they were able to manufacture runs, to get men on base, to be able to get players in position to score. They had 10 hits in this game and 4 walks. So even if you look at runners in scoring position, they went 3 for 9. I'll take that .333 batting average. Left on base, 7. But at the same time, they scored 6 in a game where 4 would have been enough to win. But by getting 6, when you sent out your relievers starting the 6th inning, they didn't have the same pressure. Well, Henriquez did in the 6th, but after that in the 7th, they didn't have the same pressure having a multiple run lead in their pockets. Now, talking a little bit about injuries, Alex Vesia was sent to the IL with a strained right oblique. He downplayed the issue, saying that, yes, it's the same side that he injured last year during the postseason, but it's not as severe. He said he started feeling it a couple of days ago playing catch, but he remains hopeful that it could be a minimal stint. It feels like a tight muscle, and he preferred speaking up now instead of jeopardizing it and getting it worse even later when the team will need him really bad late in September and in October. So, with him being out, with him being on the IL, it opened a spot where the Dodgers were able to reinstate Blake Snell from the paternity list. Congratulations to him and his wife. They welcomed their second baby this past weekend, and he's now scheduled to start for the Dodgers on Friday. Man, the Reds are scrappy, but the Dodgers, they handled their business. If this team can stack a few more wins together, we're talking about getting momentum at just the right time heading into the final month of the season. And speaking of momentum, coming up on Locked On Dodgers, nobody has more of it right now than Clayton Kershaw. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets? That's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes out all the fun. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets, delivered on time, and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. The app makes it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before buying. Best part, unlike other apps and websites, fees are included. You know your total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today.
August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches, right? For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week one even kicks off, this could be your moment. Maybe you're thinking about, you know what? I just know who's getting ready to have a big, huge, enormous year. MVP odds, right? How about Josh Allen going back-to-back? I really, really like that one. Maybe you're thinking you know who's going to win the Super Bowl all over again. Yes, I host Locked On Rams. Don't call me a homer, but don't look too far other than right down the road here in Los Angeles. Or you could parlay your division winners into dark horse payers, right? So visit the FanDuel app today and start paying or planning your futures right now, because Futures Day is only one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game.
We have an important request. Locked On Dodgers wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. If you're watching our show, there's the link right there on your screen, or scan that QR code. If you're listening, you can find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping out. Let's keep it rolling here on Locked On Dodgers, and it's time to talk about pitching. And when you talk about the Dodgers and you talk about pitching, you talk about Clayton Kershaw, who just capped off the month of August with a gem, winning his 5th consecutive start, marking the first time in 6 years that he has done so. Let's just pause on that. 5 straight wins for a 37-year-old who has dealt with injuries, setbacks, and questions about how much he has left in the gas tank. In August, he wasn't just good, he was dominant. He kept the walks low, the strikeouts steady, and gave the Dodgers stability in a rotation that desperately needed it when Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow were coming back from the injured list. Kershaw's presence right now is more than just numbers. It's leadership, it's tone setting, and it's the kind of veteran's backbone that can carry a staff down the stretch. It was the first time this season that Kershaw actually pitched on a regular 4-day rest. And how did he do? How about these numbers? 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. He retired the last 14 hitters that he faced after giving up a double, a single, and a ground out that scored the first run of the game between the first 4 batters that he ended up facing. After that, 14 retired in a row. Kershaw left the game with LA ahead 2-1. All right, another pause. At that moment, with Clayton only tossing 72 pitches, I was going crazy, asking myself, why the heck is Dave Roberts taking him out of the game right now? 5 innings, 72 pitches, retired 14 in a row. He's on fire. He's en fuego. He's in control of this game. And it's just a 2-1 game. It's a 1-run game. But actually, Kershaw agreed with him. Agreed with Doc. He's in his 18th season. He's 37 years old. He has struggled with injuries in the past. And it doesn't count as a quality start, but he left the Dodgers with only 1 run against them through 5 innings. So a bullpen that had been rested for the last couple of days, they were sent out there and be like, okay, guys, your starter, took care of more than half of the pitching innings that you're going to need to win this game. 4 innings, 4 guys, go out there, take care of business. And it got a little rocky for the first 2 guys. First off, Edgardo Henriquez, the flamethrower. He was out there in the 6th inning, and he allowed the first 2 batters that he faced to reach. But when the Reds tried bunting the runners to 2nd and 3rd, Henriquez caught the bunt and got the out at 2nd for a double play, and a couple of pitches later ended the inning before the bats in the bottom of the 6th gave LA a comfortable lead that I already spoke about. Ben Kasparias then went on the mound in the 7th and surrendered a 2-run home run. But then he got the 3 outs via strikeouts. So the Dodgers, they had that 6-3 lead. Blake Trinan in the 8th, good job. Tanner Scott in the 9th, good job. And the Dodgers got out of it with the win. 20th save of the season for Tanner Scott, first since the All-Star game. And this one, he took care of it in 15 pitches. So hopefully, Tanner Scott, 2nd outing, first one with a save opportunity on the line since coming back from the IL, and he got the save. We're going to need Tanner Scott to be good to elevate our opportunities, our possibilities for the Dodgers going back-to-back World Series. So let's see if he ends up doing it. But let's go back to Clayton Kershaw because he deserves having the spotlight on him right now with the way that he just took care of business in August. Look at these stats. He went 5-0 this month. 28 2/3 innings pitched. 6 earned runs. That's an ERA sub 2, 1.88 to be exact. 19 strikeouts versus 3 walks. 19 strikeouts versus 3 walks. That's over a 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. So Clayton Kershaw, excellent. 216 batting average against. I mean, come on. For a guy that there were people doubting if he would be coming back to pitch for the Dodgers for an 18th season, becoming just the 3rd player in franchise history to do so, a demanding position. And man, with all of you have 90% of Dodger fans, and I include myself, that consider him one of the greatest pitchers in franchise history. And even though he has his critics because of his playoff performances at times weren't the best, and we'll admit it, he is an icon for this team. Nobody else will ever wear number 22 for the Dodgers. Nobody else. So his number's going to be retired. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. When we're 20 years down the line, I'll be able to tell my kids, man, let me tell you stories about this guy I got to watch at Dodger Stadium shortly after he debuted. I was there when he got to 20 wins for the first time in his career. I was there when he won 3 Cy Youngs, when he won the MVP. He was stellar. And he won a World Series in 2020, a COVID-shortened season, but at the end of the day, every team played that season. He went out to the bullpen in case they needed him in that final game, and they didn't need him there, but he was ready. And unfortunately, in 2024, he couldn't pitch in the playoffs. But in 2025, he came back, and he had a fantastic season that, honestly, I feel this might be the swan song. This might be the last hurrah. This, I feel, is his final year playing baseball. If the Dodgers win the World Series and Clayton Kershaw pitches in it, that's it. There's nothing else for him to prove. And with going back-to-back World Series with the Dodgers, he got his parade last year, but he didn't feel the same, man. He wanted to be out there with his team. Now he has the opportunity to do so, and him being pulled after 5 innings, that shows you Dave Roberts knows that he needs to take care of him. He can't just be sending him out there, pitching him 6, 7, 8 innings, having him out there pitching over 90 pitches. What has it been? 2 times a season? 3? Maybe tops that he has gone over 90 pitches. And one of them was when he got to 3,000 strikeouts. So you have to be able to say, okay, he gave me 5 innings. That's enough. Let's give this bullpen that is rested a day out there with 4 innings, especially knowing that tomorrow is the 13th game and the 13th day in a row that the Dodgers play before having a day off on Thursday. So Dave Roberts managed it in a correct fashion. I wanted more, but at the same time, then you start thinking it was the right call. How about his ERA this season in 2025? It's down to 3.06, which if he qualified would have him 15th best in all of baseball. and top 10 in the National League. If the Dodgers are going to make a deep run, they'll need this version of Kershaw, because can you imagine? You already have the top of your rotation stacked with aces like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, like Blake Snell, like Tyler Glasnow. Add Shohei Ohtani and Emmett Sheehan, and Clayton Kershaw there? A six-man rotation, you know you're not going to use it that way in the postseason, but just having him there available, knowing that he could take care of 3 innings and do a great job, that's amazing. And right now, Kershaw looks as sharp as he has in years. And now, while the Dodgers are focused on finishing strong in 2025, Major League Baseball gave us a peek ahead all the way to next year, to 2026. Next on Locked On Dodgers, we take a peek at the highlights for the Boys in Blue schedule for next year. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas that you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank accounts, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25-cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Don't forget to follow Locked On Dodgers not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find me at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. Also, check out my co-host, Travis, at Travis Rogers on X and Instagram. He'll be back with me next week on September 2nd. All right. MLB released their schedule for the 2026 season, and here's what stands out the most for me. No international series, so that means LA won't need to start their spring training and regular season early for a 3rd year in a row after kicking off their seasons in 2024 at South Korea and in 2025 in Japan. Now, Major League Baseball is settling back into a more traditional start. No more needing to wake up at, 2 in the morning, at 1 in the morning to watch the first 2 Dodgers games of the season. Now, this is going to happen in the U.S. and later in March. Yes, the game is growing globally at an amazing pace, especially with the Dodgers having players like Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, etc. But at least this time, no long international trip to kick off the grind of a 162-game season. It's a small thing, but it matters, especially for teams with October aspirations who don't want the extra mileage added before the season even starts. So, of course, with the schedule being released, it also means circling rivalry dates, interleague matchups, and looking at how travel could impact teams. So let's dive into some important dates after I scanned the entire 2026 slate for the Dodgers that I want to share with you. The Dodgers kick off their season on Thursday, March 26th at Dodger Stadium against the Diamondbacks. That is opening day for us. That is a holiday. That is a day that if you don't have it off from work, you get sick. And I'm using air quotes for those who listen to the show instead of watch it. You call in, you either go to Chavez Ravine or you watch it at home, but it's a celebration. It's the beginning of a new season. It's the beginning of 6 months of enjoying Dodger baseball almost every single day. At least 162 games between late March and September, plus we're fortunate that for over a decade, we've been watching baseball as well in October. There's other teams, shout out to the Giants, shout out to the Rockies, shout out to the Diamondbacks that don't get to enjoy that in a consistent manner. We do. We know that in October, the Dodgers are playing. So opening day for us, for the Dodgers, March 26th, Dodgers, Diamondbacks at Dodger Stadium. One day before, Wednesday, March 25th, it's the earliest traditional opening day in league history. Yankees at Giants. Standalone game in baseball. Yankees, I get it. They're the brand. They're the Cowboys of baseball. Against the Giants? What have the Giants done to start off the season at home? At home, they got a nice ballpark, pretty cool ballpark. But that's it. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs in 2025. Why do they get to start the season at home and be the standalone game before everybody else starts playing the next day? I don't get it, but that's what happened. So after that, next part that I noticed that seemed interesting for me. Remember how you saved a lot of the Dodgers-Padres game until later this season? Well, both Dodgers-Padres series in San Diego will be before July, May 18th through the 20th, and June 26th through the 28th. So you're going to have July, August, September, and the Dodgers in the last 3 months of the season won't have to travel to San Diego to play the Padres. Another game that seems very, very interesting for me. First visit to Sacramento to play against the Athletics will be June 29th through July 1st. The Dodgers already played in a spring training AAA ballpark in Tampa Bay this year because the Rays couldn't play at Tropicana, this field, with the hurricane doing damages and everything going down over there in Florida. They played at the Yankees spring training facility against the Rays. Now they're going to play at another minor league ballpark, but this time it's going to be in the West Coast. It's going to be in the home state of the Dodgers. Not super close, but at the same time, not super far. So Dodgers A's, since the moment that the A's announced that they were leaving Oakland and before they moved to Vegas, they were going to be playing in Sacramento, that's something I'm keeping an eye on because I want to go see the Dodgers in a minor league ballpark without having to spend in flights all the way to Tampa. So I think that's a trip that I might be able to make, and I think that that's something that Dodgers fans as well will be able to take advantage. If you've ever gone to a minor league baseball game, for example, me, I used to live in El Paso, Texas. The Chihuahuas play there, AAA affiliate of the Padres. Whenever the Dodgers, the OKC Dodgers back then, traveled to El Paso, I would always make it out to the ballpark, and I got to meet guys like Corey Seager when he was in AAA, like Jock Peterson when he was in AAA, like Austin Barnes and more minor leaguers for the Boys in Blue by going, and it's a different environment. Dodger Stadium, to get all the way to the front, to get to the front row, you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars. You're paying big bucks to get close to the players. In a AAA set, in a AAA stadium, it's easier. So that's why I always like, okay, when are the Dodgers playing the A's in Sacramento? This year, it was at Dodger Stadium. Next year, 2026, June 29th through July 1st. I'm going to go. Are you? Let me know in the comments. The Padres' first visit to Dodger Stadium in 2026 happens over a 4-game series on 4th of July weekend. That means that there will be 7 Dodgers-Padres games in a 10-day span. So similar to this month of August, when you had the Dodgers playing against the Padres at Dodger Stadium, and then the Dodgers had a 4-game series in Colorado, and then they went to Petco Park for another 3-game series. Now, you look at that series I brought up, June 26th through the 28th at Petco Park, Dodgers-Padres, and then 4th of July weekend, a 4-game set at Dodger Stadium. That's going to be fun. That's going to be interesting. The All-Star Game, it's on July 14th in Philadelphia. And immediately following the All-Star break, the Dodgers embark on a long East Coast trip. From July 17th through the 26th, they'll have 9 games in a 10-day span against the Yankees, Phillies, and Mets. So for fans who travel, for fans who like going to away games, and to the big Dodgers following that we have in the East Coast, specifically Brooklyn and that area, this is going to be fantastic. You get to see the Dodgers play the Yankees, the Phillies, and Mets in back-to-back series. So that's a trip where you can make it out to the East Coast, plan a trip, and enjoy sightseeing and watching Dodger baseball as well. An interesting note, the first 9 series for the Dodgers after the All-Star break are against non-divisional opponents. Only one of the 18 series after the All-Star game for LA will be against the divisional opponents. Then they close with their last 9 games of the regular season being divisional matchups. September 18th through the 20th against the Giants, and the 22nd through the 24th against the Padres. These 6 are at Chavez Ravine. Then they wrap up the season on the road the 25th through the 27th of September, facing the Giants at Oracle Park. The only trip to the Bay for the Boys in Blue in 2026. So interesting that the only time that the Dodgers play in San Francisco against the Giants, last 3 games of the season. So a total of 45 divisional games in 2026. 13 versus San Diego, 7 in LA, 6 in San Diego, 10 games against San Francisco, 7 in LA, 3 in San Francisco, and 6 are in the final 9 games of the season. So you play against San Francisco 10 times in the entire season, and 6 of them are in the last 9 games of the season. That's incredible. I don't know what the schedule makers were thinking when they did that. 9 games against Colorado, 6 in LA, 3 in Colorado, 13 games against Arizona, 6 in LA, and 7 against the D-backs at Chase Field. So what do you guys think? What do you think about the schedule in 2026? Is there something that caught your eye that maybe I missed? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, that'll do it for today's show. Thank you so much for making Locked On Dodgers your first listen. If you're still craving more baseball talk, have the all-new Locked On MLB Game Nights be your second listen. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find it on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And also, catch Pete Fox after every Dodgers game on our YouTube channel with his live postcast. I'll be back on Thursday to talk about the Dodgers trying to become the first team to sweep the Reds in 2025. I appreciate you riding with me. Until next time, keep it real, keep it Dodger Blue.